The following is a list of recommended summer reading books chosen by the Lacey Township High School Student Reading Committee. The students, parents, teachers, administrators, and librarians of the committee reviewed over 100 books this year and chose only those that would appeal to our students. You will find both fiction and nonfiction books on this list that cover many genres and subject disciplines. For more information about each book, please visit the high school website and look for the Summer Reading Resources link. Students, when you finish reading your book or books, complete the online survey in the resources link on the website to get credit from your language arts teacher. This list was made possible by a grant from the Lacey Township High School PTSA and from generous donations from the high school teachers and staff. Thank you.
A Long Way Home by Sarud Brearley. This is the true story of how the author became lost in India at the age of 5. He was adopted and raised by an Australian family and eventually was able to find his biological family thanks to Google Maps. Memoir, grades 10 through 12.
Always Forever by Nancy O'Hill. Becca, a popular girl at Thorn Abbey boarding school, drowns in a sailing accident. Everyone at the school, especially her boyfriend Max, has a hard time dealing with her death. 6 months later, Tess shows up and takes Becca's room and becomes interested in Max. However, Becca's ghost is not too happy about that. Mystery, horror, all grades. Amity by Michael Ostow. Amity is a story about a house. Not just any house, but a house so vile and wicked that it burns bright with the souls it has taken. And sadly, it has new victims. Taking place in numerous time periods, this book puts time, horror, and death in perspective. Horror, grades 11 and 12.
An Invisible Thread by Laura Schroff and Alex Tresnowski. This is the story of a successful businesswoman who is mysteriously drawn to an 11-year-old panhandler. Over the years, they continue to bond. This story highlights the importance a parent has on a child's life and the cycle of poverty in America. An autobiography meant for grades 10 to 12.
A Mad Wicked Folly by Sharon Waller. In London's Edwardian era, wealthy teen Victoria Darling longs to become an artist, but to do so would require her to thwart everyone's expectations. Will she agree to a loveless marriage in the hopes of financial security? Historical fiction, grades 9 and 10.
Behind the Beautiful Forevers by Catherine Boo, nonfiction. Boo tells her experiences living among the people of Mumbai, India. Recommended for grades 11 and 12.
Arclight by Jocelyn L. McQuain. In a world where the only safe place is the light, danger lurks at every shadow. In this post-apocalyptic, war-torn world, we follow a girl who lives in the gray. Her world is not dark or light. She exists in the ether of the realms that now dominate the world. A science fiction book meant for all grades.
Boy Nobody by Alan Zadoff. Jason Bourne-like teen assassin Boy Nobody is on a high-stakes assignment. Falling in love with his next target's daughter complicates the mission. Suspense, grades 11 and 12.
Bubble World by Carol Snow. Frisia lives in a perfect world on a gorgeous island where she's beautiful, rich, and popular. Suddenly, she returns to the mainland, which is not so glamorous. How did this happen to her? Science fiction, grades 9 and 10.
Come August, Come Freedom by Gigi Amato. A boy named Gabriel is born a slave in Virginia and he has always hoped for freedom. Then he grows up and fights for freedom. He devises a plan with fellow slaves to form a rebellion. Love is added to his journey and he will risk anything for freedom. Historical fictions, all grades.
The Fall by Bethany Griffin. Based on Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher, Madeline is trapped in her family house that is slowly killing her. A horror novel for all grades.
Blythewood by Carol Goodman. When Ava comes to the elite boarding school, Blythewood, she learns about her family history. What follows is a story of magic secrets, forbidden love, and otherworldly creatures. Historical fantasy, romance, and recommended for all grades.
In Happy Money, The Science of Happier Spending, Elizabeth Dunn and Michael Norton explain how we can get more happiness from our money. Based on their research, they have 5 core principles people should follow when spending their money. Psychology, economics, grades 11 and 12.
The Heart is a Lonely Hunter by Carson McCullers is about a deaf-mute, John Singer, who becomes a confidant for various misfits in a southern mill town in Georgia. This is a classic Southern Gothic novel, recommended for 11th graders.
Hostage 3 by Nick Lake. While on a cruise in the Indian Ocean, Amy's family yacht is boarded by Somali pirates. As the days progress, Amy finds herself befriending and eventually falling in love with one of the pirates. Adventure, suspense, all grades.
The Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle. A diabolical hound with supernatural origins is terrorizing the people of Dartmoor, England. Classic novel, mystery, crime, grade 9.
In the Shadow of Blackbirds is a novel written by Kat Winters. It's 1918, and the flu and World War I rage on. Mary Shelley Black's father is arrested for treason, so she's sent to live with her aunt. Distraught over the death of Stephen, her would-be boyfriend, Mary Shelley goes out into a thunderstorm, gets struck by lightning, and dies for a few minutes. She awakens to discover that she can communicate with the dead. This book is recommended for all grades.
Frankenstein's Cat by Emily Anthes. This book is about how humans alter animals to do things they normally would not do, whether it is to further their species or ours. It also explains how animals can be used in different ways. Science, ethics, all grades.
Living with Jackie Chan by Joe Knowles. Josh left his dysfunctional home to live with his cheery uncle, but he is also harboring the secret of being a father to a baby he has never met, and this is keeping him from a normal teenage life. Over the course of a year, he learns to forgive himself. Reality fiction deals with teenage pregnancy and drug issues, all grades.
Nickel and Dimed by Barbara Ehrenreich. A journalist goes undercover to work low-wage jobs across America, trying to survive on minimum wage each month in a new place. Nonfiction, economics, labor issues, grades 11 and 12.
I Am Najood, age 10 and divorced, by Najood Ali, memoir. In 2008, a young Yemeni girl decided to fight back against a horrible custom. 12th grade.
9 Days by Fred Hyatt. Ethan and Tiana go to Hong Kong searching for her father, a political activist who was exiled from China and disappeared. The duo travel through Vietnam searching for him, uncovering illegal activity along the way. Suspense, all grades.
Burning Blue by Paul Griffin. Nicole Castro, the most beautiful, popular, and wealthy girl in school, is splashed with acid on the left side of her face. Jay, a brilliant hacker, decides to find out who did it. Mystery, all grades.
Noggin by John Corey Whaley. 5 years after Travis died, he is brought back to life with a new body in a different kind of world than what he left. Science fiction, reality fiction, grades 10 to 12.
Breathe by Sarah Crossan is about a society that lives under a dome with a rebel group in it. Outside the dome is a barren land where people can't survive. The rebel group wants to change that. Science fiction, all grades.
Fallout by Todd Strasser. Fallout is about a boy and his family who during the 60s live in a time of nuclear war hysteria. Scott's dad has spent years building a bomb shelter and leaves them the only family prepared. What will everyone else do when the unthinkable happens? A suspense novel intended for people of all grades.
The Professor and the Madman by Simon Winchester. The Professor and the Madman is an extraordinary tale of madness and genius and the incredible obsessions of two men at the heart of the Oxford English Dictionary and literary history. With riveting insight and detail, Simon Winchester crafts a fascinating glimpse into one man's tortured mind and his contribution to another man's magnificent dictionary. History, nonfiction, grades 11 and 12.
The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, a classic novel that involves brutal reflections on the cost of selfishness and being vain, all with a shocking twist. The story follows a successful, handsome, and arrogant man with a success, but through his moral corruption and narcissistic behavior, his life crumbles. Gothic fiction, grade 12.
The Rules for Disappearing by Ashley Elston. This book is about a girl whose family has been in the Witness Protection Program for about a year. She has traveled to 6 different towns and has lived 6 different fake identities. Her current ID is Megan Rose Jones in Louisiana, and she tries her hardest to live a boring, uneventful life in this rural town. However, she meets a cute boy named Ethan and starts to fall for him. Megan begins to question why her family is in the program, and as she unravels an eerie and dangerous mystery, Megan slowly discovers the truth, and she realizes her life hangs in the balance.
Sick by Tom Levine. A group of friends is trapped at a school after a flesh-eating zombie-top virus breaks out at a pep rally. The school is put on lockdown, but only this small group of unpopular kids knows how to escape and save the rest of the school. A horror novel meant for all grades.
Stiff, The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers by Mary Roach. Stiff is an oddly compelling, often hilarious exploration of the strange lives of our bodies post-mortem. For 2,000 years, cadavers, some willingly and some unwittingly, have been involved in science's boldest strides and weirdest undertakings. In this fascinating account, Mary Roach visits the good deeds of cadavers over the centuries and tells the engrossing story of our bodies when we are no longer with them. Nonfiction, Anatomy and Medicine, all grades.
Nearly Gone by Ellie Casimano. Nearly Gone tells the murder mystery of a financially struggling teenage girl. As she attempts to piece together the truth to local murders, she finds herself being followed by an undercover and extremely attractive guy. Together they face inevitable reality and solve the case, perhaps falling in love along the way. Drug references and profanity. Mystery. All grades.
Skink No Surrender by Carl Hyacin. When Richard's cousin Mally gets kidnapped by an internet wacko, he is determined to find her. With the help of his odd new friend, Skink, a one-eyed wild vigilante, Richard sets off on a crazy adventure across Florida in hot pursuit of his cousin and her abductor. A mysterious adventure comedy meant for all grades.
Stuff Matters, Exploring the Marvelous Materials That Shape Our Man-Made World by Mark Majadownik. In Stuff Matters, material scientist Mark Majadownik reveals the inner workings of the materials that we use every day but never stop to think about. From chocolate to concrete to paper, Majadownik explains in simplified scientific terms every molecule in our materials. Science and technology, all grades.
The Shadow Prince by Bree Despin. Delphine Rains moves to Olympus Hills with her estranged father and becomes involved with a possible conspiracy of missing girls. Hayden Lord, a disguised prince of the underrealm, has been sent on a mission to bring Delphine back to the underworld. Paranormal romance, all grades.
Stung by Bethany Wiggins. With no memory of the past 5 years, Fiona wakes up in a horrible new world. Adventure, science fiction, romance, all grades.
Discovering Westmore by Westmore, memoir. 2 men with the same name live different lives because of the decisions they made. Recommended for all grades.
The President Has Been Shot by James L. Swanson. A look into John F. Kennedy's life, and then the majority of the book spoke about his assassination. It was an in-depth look at the assassination, including vivid descriptions, pictures, and diagrams. Historical nonfiction, biography. Recommended for all grades.
You Are Not Special and Other Encouragements by David McCullough, Jr. This book unravels the idea that each one of us is a special little snowflake. David McCullough makes the case that the idea that each one of us is exceptional will hurt us in the long run. Inflated by our own egos, we are being set up to fail. A non-fiction book intended for grades 11 and 12.
The Toaster Project, or A Heroic Attempt to Build a Simple Electric Appliance from Scratch by Thomas Twaits. This is a story of one man's quest to build a seemingly simple electronic device. Science and technology, all grades.
The Trowel by Franz Kafka. A man finds his room intruded by 3 men claiming he is arrested, but he can go about his business and no one has to know. This book follows the man through his trials. Classic novel, grade 10. When Gadgets Betray Us, The Dark Side of Our Infatuation with New Technologies by Robert Vamosi. Computers, Crime. The author tells us how to protect ourselves from our computer devices. Recommended for all grades.
Loud, Awake, and Lost by Adele Griffin. Ember is the sole survivor of a car crash that kills a mysterious boy she knew, but her memories of the weeks before the accident are a blur. As she experiences several flashbacks, she is able to piece together how she knew him. Mystery, realistic fiction, all grades.
The White Bicycle by Beverly Brenna. The White Bicycle is the third standalone book in the Wild Orchid series about a young woman with Asperger's syndrome. In this book, Taylor Jane, the protagonist, travels to the south of France with her mother, where she spends a summer babysitting for the Phoenix family. Told from her perspective, this is an eye-opening book intended for all grades.